All right. So on that note, welcome to Live from the Southside people. I go by the name of Truth Telling Young Skills. That queen to my left, that is Sexy Fee. And the queen to her left, that is Dominique Lamb. People, we are excited. We are very excited to have Dominique Lamb in the building. We're going to get into who she is and what she does in 1 second. But before we do, how are you ladies feeling today?
I feel pretty good. How you feeling?
Blessed, thank God. Blessed and highly favored.
Come on, in a
Hey,
Sunday.
Yes, on a Sunday.
Come on.
How you feeling, Fee?
I feel great. I'm excited. I just been smiling since I walked in here, and I'm gonna be smiling when I walk up out of here.
I hear that one. Just finished shooting one of your amazing episodes of Peak. You guys got to
Woo!
check out the Peak Nutrition.
You
You know,
have to.
get your dietary meals together and just get your needs that you need to get right. You know, you need to
Yes.
get these meals right.
Yes.
So hey, look, people. We're here on an exciting Sunday to bring you the one and only Dominique Lamb. She is Dominique. Dominique, tell the people what are you running for and bring them up to date about who you are.
Sure. So I'm running for Prince George's County Council, and I'm running to represent District 6 on the council.
And that's from
The areas District 6 covers the unincorporated parts of Bowie, Upper Marlboro, Capitol Heights, District Heights, and then also Largo, Kettering, Westphalia, and Forestville.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so
So if
it's
you people are out there in those areas watching, and I know you are, thank you for the love and support.
Yes.
This is your new councilwoman.
Give it up. Give it up.
Thank you. And if you
Yes.
don't live in those areas, you know someone who does. So please tell them to check me out and to vote in June.
Yes. Early voting starts June 11th through June 18th for everyone out there that's watching. And the primaries are June 23rd.
Yes.
I said it all right, people.
Yes. Good job.
Yes.
Good
I'm
job.
excited about that. I'll be celebrating that. Okay, off camera. But no, I'm very excited to have you here. You're one of our most important guests of the year, I want to say. So
Yes.
thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it with us.
Absolutely.
People, we've held her hostage all day.
All day.
All day.
And
So
loved every moment of it.
yes,
It's been my
yes.
Every
pleasure.
moment.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
No,
It's been
thank
my
you for the
pleasure.
education on your world and the things that you do.
Thank
So
you.
I'm so like, wow, that's what goes on. That's what you be doing. I'm like, my eyes just was as big as my forehead. I love it.
And
Yeah,
we-
I'm
Powerful
gonna record
woman.
a video to explain what Fee and I were talking about earlier was what the county council can do, what the county executive does. So I'm gonna be recording a video and put it on my social media and my website because a lot of people don't know what all these different offices are
Mhm.
that they're going to vote for.
Right.
And I know no one really broke that down for me before I started voting. Like, my first time voting was for Obama. Shout
Oh
out
yeah.
to-
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
shout out to Barack Obama.
Mhm.
And I feel like everyone gears young people towards you vote for the president. You vote every 4 years. You
Mhm.
vote in November.
Mhm.
But the truth is, we have special elections, we have primaries,
Mhm.
and we vote for way more than the president.
Yes.
So when I voted for Obama, I went in like, okay, I'm voting for Obama. But then you get in there and you see, oh, I got to vote for judges. I got to vote for Congress people. I got to
Mhm.
vote for the clerk of the circuit
Mhm.
court. I got to vote for the register of wills. There's all these
Wow.
things. And then there are ballot initiatives. And I'm reading them and I'm like, I don't really know what happens if I say yes or no to this, right?
Mhm.
Like, what's the impact? So I don't know how to vote for this, right? So my goal is to create a video to help explain what each of these things are so
Okay.
that we can be informed
Mhm.
Yes.
because we see what happens when we vote without being informed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You
And
get
we,
a Trump or somebody in office.
exactly.
You know.
And then people are wondering, well, why is this happening? Why aren't they doing a better job, right? Our elected officials. And oftentimes I was, also sharing this with Fee. We have a lot of people who are willing to serve,
Mhm.
which is amazing, right?
Mhm.
Like we have people who are motivated to take care of the community.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that all of us have the skills to do that, right?
Or know how.
Or the know-how. All of us aren't qualified
Mm-hmm.
for the office that we're running for, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So we need voters to be informed about, okay, first of all, what does this office require?
Mm-hmm.
And then second, how do you qualify to fulfill those requirements?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that goes way beyond the way we traditionally vote, which is, oh, I saw the signs, on the side of the road, or I know that person, but
That's
we
how
have
it
no
normally is.
idea.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to go beyond that so that we can get different results, because we keep doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Is that insanity or crazy?
Insanity.
Insanity. Okay,
Yeah, that's
okay.
insanity.
Doing the same thing, expecting
over.
different results.
Yeah.
That's the definition of insanity. And I
Yes.
think we've been insane on like our voting process. One thing that I really want to say and give you a kudos on, and hopefully Truth Teller Network can produce that video. If not, we'll still share it on our plethora of platforms, because I think that's very important to tell people. So it's so many things that you look at when you get into that booth, or when it's time to vote, and it's overwhelming to umpteenth degree, especially for the layman's person, because like you said, I don't know if I say no to this initiative, that might, in a small sense, it might crumble your neighborhood, but you never would have known.
Right.
So if you do, not if, when you do that video, we're going to share the hell out of it,
Yes,
because
yes,
that's
we
some
are.
information that I think one needs to be taught in school, and I'm surprised that stuff like that isn't. But
Well, can I interrupt? I believe that it's intentional, the reason that it's not taught in school. The same way we intentionally don't teach like financial literacy. We don't teach you how to do your taxes, teach you how to do all of the things we know that you're going to have to do as an adult. We don't teach you about how to vote. We don't teach you about even where to find the list of candidates, so that it's more than just who could afford to put a sign on the road. There's a list of candidates, and there are people who profit from us not knowing. We see right now what they've done with the Voting Rights Act. They are intentionally trying to keep us from being informed voters. And I'm saying that, the proverbial they, right? But there are people who profit from the status quo, or would not be the status quo. There are people who benefit from, and I can say this is my first time running, and I have political advisors, and some of them have said to me, like, people are not as smart as you like want them to be, right? Because I'm a very creative person. I'm coming up with different ideas for how to get my message out and how to get my name out there. And some of my ideas, they're like, people are not, they don't read all of that. You need to dumb this down. And it's discouraging sometimes, because I'm like, the people I know
are highly intelligent,
right? But that's the advice, and what that's made me understand as a candidate is that, there are people who are perfectly fine with people walking around and not knowing,
right?
because they're not counting on your vote. And that's how we are able to get, some people are able to get elected with a small minority of people voting for them. Because if they really had to go up against someone who was more qualified but didn't have the money to get their name out there, if we really were looking at each candidate like, yeah, I like her, but she don't seem qualified, so maybe I'll go with her, right? If that's really what we were doing, there are so many people who would not be in power,
right,
and who would not have the money that they have, and who would not have the advantages that they have. So this system is intentional. Is very intentional
and
keep
they've
people
been
from being informed.
working on us since day one.
Since day one.
Honestly,
Yes, they have.
honestly.
Since they were like, we'll keep the vote from you. And then once we get it, it's like there are all of these obstacles to exercising it. And so we are still seeing them in 2026. They're
Unfortunately.
still trying to take our right to vote away, or find a way around it. But one of the things that we can do, I think it used to be maybe, like as we were growing up, like you have to vote, right? Because people wouldn't vote.
Right.
I think now it's you need to be informed when you vote. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do vote.
Mm-hmm.
We that's been drilled into us, so we vote, but now you have to be informed
And
when you
that's
do
the
it.
message that you are delivering, which I really appreciate, but that's the message that has not been disseminated our entire lives. I think one thing that we can actually see progressing is we've come from not being able to vote at all. Our vote doesn't matter to now our vote mattering. But the most important part is you need to know what to vote for and how to vote, you know? So let's please get that information out to the people.
Yeah.
One question that I wanted to ask you, and this is going to be your breakout moment right here.
Okay.
So, what sets you apart from other candidates?
I think that several things set me apart. One of them is I actually have no desire to be a politician. This is not something that I aspire to do. I am someone who's a public servant. I will always be a public servant. I've been a lifelong public servant, and I've brought my public service to every job and position that I've had because that's who I am. But I've tried for most of my career to make change from behind the scenes. And this is me stepping out into the front because it's very difficult to make the level of change that we need from behind the scenes. So I've been doing a lot of work again with, you know, existing politicians. And what I've learned from that is that a lot of them, the ones that are in it for the right reasons, they have their own passion, right? They have their own reason that they got into politics. So when you come to them with a problem, they're like, okay, but it's not the same as if it were there, you know, across the bear. So there's that. But I've also learned that a lot of the people who are in office, again, are not truly informed about the community. You have, you know, a figurehead, right? You have someone, and then you have advisors around them. And I always assume that the advisors around them are the people who have all the information. But as I've been meeting with some of those people, I've learned, oh, no, there's a lot of um, you know, what we're used to seeing in different industries still happens in politics, where those people get those jobs because they know someone, because it was a right place, right time sort of thing. Because,
Family.
right, because you have family. Even, you know, I have a politics degree, and I think that that's useful. But I'll be honest, most of the insight that I have about what we need in Prince George's County doesn't come from having a politics degree. It comes from my lived experience. It comes from me running a business. It comes from me working in the community and meeting people and seeing what their needs are. And it comes from me being a student of different philosophers and understanding different approaches, right? So one of the approaches that I'm a huge fan of, and I think this is also something that sets me apart from um, some of the other candidates, is Mayor Mamdani in New York. He's killing it right now.
Yeah.
And he is a democratic socialist,
Okay.
and he is approaching politics and public service from that lens. And I think that he's an excellent representative of what it could be. But you have to be a student of different, you know, schools of thought to even bring something like that to one of the largest cities in the
Yeah,
in the
and they're
world.
talking so highly of him. Like all
Yeah.
I hear is high praise of that man. And I guess he went in there and shook some things up and made some initiatives happen. But that's a great example of what you
Yeah.
should do once you're placed in power.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think again that's the opportunity that we have now, because the Democratic Party was not supporting him, right? They were supporting a different candidate. And I think that I've seen that even for myself, where there's support for keeping things the same, keeping the same people in place, keeping the same, you know, alliances and allegiances from our elected officials. And so I don't have any of those. I don't have an alliance with anyone. I don't have an allegiance to anyone. I don't owe anyone. No one has no one has any responsibility for getting me to where I am. And no one is able to hold my title over my head, right? This is solely because I see what needs to be done. I see that I have some answers. And as much as I've tried to get those answers to the powers that be, that's not been enough. So let me become one of the people who has a seat at the table so that I can make change that way.
Yeah, they say the most effective way to make changes from the inside. So
yeah, I'll speak for myself. I think that a lot of people can probably relate to this, but for me, I've always been a person who, feels more comfortable where I can't be criticized. I'm in the background. Like no one knows that that was, like my idea. Because what mattered most to me was like, well, at least it's gonna happen, right? Whatever the outcome is gonna happen, and I don't have to be, on in the center of it. You can go far with that, and sometimes
go far.
sometimes to get to the finish line, you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. And so for me, it has taken a lot of personal growth to get comfortable enough to say, I can be in front of a camera and I can, like speak publicly, and I have the tough skin for people to disagree with me, and to not take it personally, and
lose
for
your
it to
cool,
not,
yeah,
right, for it to not be, just an issue. So, it's been a journey to get to this point, to be comfortable, to do something like this, because I will say I will never get used to seeing my face on the street.
The billboards are only getting bigger from here. Okay?
There you go.
All right.
I will never
You
get
ain't
used
gotta
to
be
that.
in the back no more, baby. You
Yeah.
on the front line now.
What's good with you people? It's your boy Truth Tella Young Skills. And look, if you're out there and you want to be on an episode of True Session, I would love to have you on my studio. Let's work. All you got to do is reach out to me, let me know where you at, and let's get it in. If you have a track that you would love to get mastered by yours truly, please let me put my finishing touches on it. I definitely can guarantee you I will make it radio ready for you. Reach out to me. Let's work. Check out a new episode of True Sessions on YouTube or catch it on my Instagram or Facebook. Thank you for the love and support. I go by the name of Truth Tella Young Skills. Peace.
Well, it's kind of cool that, you're a woman and you do what you do. So, like, what did you just wake up one morning and roll out of bed and was like, hey, I'm going to run for Congresswoman of the United States. And you went down to the office and was like, sign your name on this dotted line here. You know what I'm saying? And now you did that, pushed and moved, and now you're here with us. So what's the steps of even thinking or knowing of how to get started in a position in a district?
Yeah. So I actually first wanted to do this when I was 15. So I was 15. I went to Suitland High School. Okay. And I was bused in from Accokeek. So I grew up in Accokeek.
Accokeek, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm in Southern Prince George's County. We treat Southern Prince George's County very different than we do the central part of the county and the upper part of the county. Okay. So I'm being bused in from Accokeek to, at the time we were Forestville, right? Okay. But I'm being bused into Suitland High School. And I'm seeing the difference. This young mind is seeing the difference between my neighborhood and the neighborhoods where all my friends live, right? They go to Suitland with me. And I didn't have the words for it then, but I knew that something wasn't right with the way that those neighborhoods were treated compared to my neighborhood.
Right.
And so I first had the thought then that I should become a politician or start a nonprofit, so that I could fix what was wrong with
at
the neighborhood.
15.
At 15.
I was still like probably eating dirt still at 15. I'm like, I'm in a neighborhood and it looks pretty clean to me. And go over to the other neighborhood, it looks pretty clean to me.
Yeah.
Not separating the difference, but it's glad that you have that eye to see that. Because when I was 15, honey, I wasn't seeing none of what you just spoke out your mouth.
Well,
So
and
that's good.
it was, I don't know why that seed was planted. I'm grateful. But at the time I didn't know what that looked like.
Mhm.
And so it has taken over 20 years to
Yeah.
fully understand, okay, what does it look like when we intentionally starve a community of resources? Like, what does it mean to intentionally invest in every other space except this neighborhood, right? And so now I do have that understanding. Again, I did, one of my degrees is in politics.
Okay.
So that was helpful, a step along the way. I've worked in the federal government. That gave me some perspective. I worked for the Department of Education. I worked for the Office of Financial Research. So those both gave me a lot of, soft and really tangible skills. Again, I own my own business. That will help you understand some
Yeah.
things, especially when you own a business through COVID.
Oh,
That will
yeah.
really help you understand a
COVID.
different landscape, politically and business wise. And then I started a think and do tank. I call it a think and do tank as opposed to a think tank.
Okay.
And it's specifically around housing discrimination because my business is, I own a real estate brokerage. And so I expanded my brokerage. I'm licensed in the DMV, but I expanded to Georgia and Florida. And when I got licensed in Georgia and started working with clients there, I really saw a different kind of racism. When you grow up here, the way that we navigate racism as Black people, to me, is different than any other place in the country.
Oh, wow.
So being in Georgia and seeing that kind of racism and seeing the way that Black people navigated there compared to here made me also feel motivated. Like, wait, all my little strategies work
Right.
when I'm in Maryland. Why don't they work here?
You need
Right.
another type of strategy, different type of folk you're dealing with.
Exactly. And so I started to consult with HUD. I started to work with different agencies at the state level in Georgia and in Maryland. And so all of that, like consulting with and advising different politicians and different policymakers and policymaking agencies, all of that kind of immediately preceded this decision. So it was a long road, but getting here and then realizing, okay, the people that I'm advising don't necessarily have the motivation, right? Or they don't have the insight that you have when you're someone who works directly in the community, right? They have a lot of theoretical ideas, but mine are very much grounded in, no, this is what people are experiencing. This is what happens when you make this law to the people who you mean to impact, right? So so I think that, and I think one thing I didn't mention is, out of grad school, I used to work for this organization called Ashoka, and it's about social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so that was a huge foundation for me in just finding, oh, here's where you can like do good and make money at the same time, right? But one of the critical things that I resonate with when it comes to social entrepreneurship is finding root causes for problems and addressing root causes. Because in America, we tend to react when things happen rather than prevent things from happening.
Oh, yeah, man.
So then if you're going to prevent something, you have to identify the root cause and then address that, right? So instead of us identifying the root causes of crime or poverty, we criminalize poverty. You know, like we look at you like, well, why would you steal that? Okay, did this person really want to steal that?
Right.
What other options
did
they have? You know, what kind of society have we created for them what other options could we have given them that, again, we've starved them of, but have given other people a pass, right? Because it's not the case that no one's doing this in these wealthy communities or whatever. We just give them a pass. We understand. Oh, you're just a kid, right? So that I would say is also critical to my decision, and like my understanding, my insight is that I understand the importance of going for the root cause while also addressing short term. Okay, what are we going to do about it now? But how are we going to prevent this
in the future? I like
Perfect.
that. I like that a lot.
That's great.
That's amazing. My question was gonna be why here, why now, but we got that answer already, so there's no need to beat that dead horse. One thing, how can people get in contact with you?
Okay, so I have a website.
Yes, you do.
DominiqueLamb.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on all of the socials.
All of them.
So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Threads, you name it, I'm on there.
Oh yeah.
Most of my handles are vote the number 4 Dominique. And Dominique is spelled Dominique, because I know that people spell it differently.
Yeah, they do.
Well, Dominique had a K in it, huh?
Oh. So vote for Dominique, or just Dominique Lamb.
A question that I wanted to ask you, because I know that you went to Suitland High School. Shout outs to the Rams.
Yes.
Mighty Rams. But where did you grow up? Like, what was your neighborhood like? You said Akakeet, but for people in Wisconsin that don't even know what an Akakeet is, like, explain to them a little bit about that. How was it? Was it a bad neighborhood? Was it a good place? Like, break it down for us.
Yeah. So, my neighborhood was one they were like building. So it was a new construction, a lot of Black families moving into that area. When I was living there, no one knew where Akakeek was.
Oh,
we
wow.
hated to tell people, me and my brother hated to tell people that we lived in Akakeek, because everyone was like, where is that?
Never heard of
Right?
it.
How do you even spell that?
Right. And then that would be the follow-up. So we would tell people, we live like close to St. Charles Mall, because people
Okay, to know where that mall is. Yes, I've been there a couple of times.
Yes, or we would say we live near Fort Washington or something, because people like knew where that was. But it was a newer community then in the 90s, and predominantly Black. We definitely had the experience of like, you go ride your bike like it's a car. You take, like, I'm going to my friend's house, I'm gonna park.
Oh yeah.
Here, in front of their house. And what I really loved about my neighborhood is like the parents really did. We had a true village. The parents knew each other, and all of us could be, in the backyard of one person's house. Like, the guys are playing basketball, the girls are like sitting. Y'all remember Gimp?
Yeah.
Yes.
We sitting playing with Gimp, or like the tribe, making tribe bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
Or you take your bike and go on an adventure. Right?
Yeah.
We had to be back in the house when the street lights came on.
Okay.
Yes. And then like some parents, and now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I know my parents had to been so grateful. I remember one person in particular, she would take all of us. She had a big van. She would take all of us to Allentown Pool.
Okay.
For the day.
Like a community pool?
The community pool. That pool will wear some kids out.
Oh yeah, especially all day.
So we fell asleep on the way back.
Yeah.
And then you go home, and I'm like, I know our parents were so happy.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't do that no more.
Yes.
No, that doesn't exist
That
nowadays.
doesn't happen. And I've been talking about this a lot lately, but growing up, you couldn't have paid me to stay in the house as a kid.
Exactly.
I had to be outside.
Yeah, that doesn't exist in 2026.
That was our punishment back in the day. Was to
stay inside the house.
We
Yeah.
went crazy.
Right.
Hated
and
that.
we had TV, but TV was
We
not
ain't
more
watch
fun.
TV
It
like
wasn't
that.
nothing to watch back then.
No.
We didn't have all of these
Unless it was
stations
like
and
106 at Park. Something gonna be on there.
But
Everybody
even
will be in the
then-
house.
we was
Even then,
older.
I still wanted to, like, even our shows when we would come home, like Doug and Wishbone and like those kind of shows, I didn't want to watch that more than I wanted to be outside.
Right,
with my
right.
friends.
Yeah,
Like,
Goosebumps. It wasn't that scary, nigga. I'd rather go find a stick in the woods somewhere.
I like Area
poke a dead body.
It's all right.
Give me a little something to eat. I'll be out right outside. Latchkey kid, you know, like you let yourself in, don't let nobody else in here. But I would go out, hang out with my friends, be back in, you know, before the street lights came on, or really when they were on. It's
right.
they on, you need to be making it.
Right, because we couldn't time that. No way possible.
We didn't have phones.
No, right, nothing.
Right.
We were just out there.
Right.
We had
We
Earth.
Doing the sundial on the daggone concrete.
That's it.
We got 3 more minutes
Almost
left.
time.
We got 3 more minutes holding up 4 fingers though.
Yes.
So break
that
it down
was
for
childhood.
me. How did you grow up with both of your parents in your life?
So yes, my parents were married, but my father was in the military, and then when he retired from the military, he became Secret Service.
Oh, okay.
So he was an agent. So he was an agent with Clinton and then the second Bush. And so that, I don't know if y'all know this, but Secret Service agents are always gone.
Yeah.
So he would, especially for Bush spent so much time in Texas a lot before 9/11 happened. So, and then for my father, after 9/11 happened, he became an air marshal. So he was still always gone, like, you know, having to travel all the time. So even though my parents were married, we would see him, you know, kind of intermittently because his work always kept him away. And my mom, she worked for federal government. So both of them were working in the government. So I definitely grew up with this idea that, you know, get you a good federal
government job.
There you go.
It's a real job security. And I did my stint in the government. But I have to say during that time, it felt anything but secure. Furloughs, you know, and I was riffed under Trump's first presidency. The first presidency, he was anti-Obama. So because I worked for an agency that Obama started, he wanted to wipe us out. And that's actually when I made the decision that, okay, well, instead of finding another agency, I'm going to start my brokerage. Because this isn't really
where it's at.
Given the job security that I was hoping for.
Or promised, probably.
Right, that I was promised. So I really sympathize with, you know, so many of the people in our area who have lost their jobs, their federal government jobs or contractor jobs.
It's like 25,000 or something, or 20 something thousand.
Sounds low.
I know it was up in the thousands, and it was at least, you know, 5 digits. I don't think it was 6. I don't think it made like hundreds of thousands. I don't know.
Well, I know that in Prince George's County, our unemployment rate went from 3.4% to 5.4% or so.
Damn.
In a year.
Oh, wow. 1 year. Okay.
In 1 year, we almost doubled our unemployment because that's how many people who live in the county rely on the federal government for work. So that was that's a major increase for us, especially to happen all at one time. And, you know, to not have any way to sort of like prepare, how are you going to support all of these people who are out of work? So
real quick, I don't want to dwell on it. What do you think the root cause of that was? Could it be pinpointed to one specific thing, or it's just
or
is that a domino effect or something?
I think that, I mean, Trump wanted to get rid of the government because he wanted to bring his people in, right? He wanted to bring loyalists in. So that's the immediate. That's what happened.
And then trickle down to that.
Yeah. Okay. But what I will say is for every community that's been impacted, because certainly we've been impacted, but we're not the only county. We're not the only state. For every community, we need certain safety nets to be in place. And we should not have to respond to something crazy like Trump just letting go all of these government employees. But we should have things in place in our community to support those people
When that happens.
who are impacted, because anything could happen. And to me, what it means to be in community is that we're responsible for each other, right? I can't say we're in community and then if something like that happens to you, it's like, okay, but that's
not my fault.
That's
you know what I mean?
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you gotta pick up the pieces on your own.
Right. Like you got that, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, if we're in community with each other,
help
like
one another when those things
absolutely. Like I tell my good girlfriends, if I got $5, you got $2.50. Right? Like we're supposed to do this together.
Yeah,
like
I practice that with all of my people.
Yeah.
If it benefits me, it benefits you directly.
Exactly. One of the like most amazing compliments anyone has ever given me and has stuck with me, and I hope I always live up to it, is she actually like posted a picture of me and like tagged it. She said, "If lifting as I climb were a person." And I thought, wow, like that's exactly who I am, who I want to be. Like that's exactly what I think we should be doing.
That's really dope. That's really dope.
I will always carry that with me. Because that was like, wow, one, I felt seen, but also no one had put it that way for me before. So
it's a powerful way to put a message. I really like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I really received that when you said it. So
yeah.
Shout outs to you. Kudos.
Thank you.
Hopefully she could write something dope for me.
We're
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that you have an amazing story. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
You have to come back.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I got to come back to do Fee's show, and I'm happy to come back to your show.
I can't wait for you to come back and do Peak. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's gonna be super dope.
Yeah, come back and do Peak and Peak Nutrition.
Yes.
I got some good things in store for you.
Okay.
So people, I go by the name of Truth Tella Young Skills. That beautiful queen to my left, that is Sexy Fee. And that beautiful queen to her left, that is Dominique Lamb. Get out there. Early voting starts June 11th through June 18th. Don't forget those primaries are June 23rd. But by then, you should have already cast your vote. You know what I mean? Let's get real. Support those who support you. I love you if you love me, people. And on that note, we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
Peace.
Truth teller.